he made it clear that they weren't going to make any bannings before the PT, but afterwards they were highly considering it. So we actually might see an unban this time around.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
They did it with Thopter Sword. Thopter is unplayable. You're
Yeah.
right, though, with Golgari Gravetroll. They tried that. It didn't really work out for them. So
Yeah.
there it is. There's a Thalia. So Chris Curry, you're going to be limited on what he can play, especially after playing a turn 1 tap land. Takes 2. What do you think this is?
Just
Opt,
pass.
Lightning
pass.
Bolt, Path.
Path. Yeah.
None of them. All right.
Hopefully he hasn't one of them, or if not, it's going to be a tough time for Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Getting 2 damage for sure.
Puts Chris to 16 here.
Thraben Inspector? Yeah, we got a good old Thraben Inspector. Former standard all-star, playable in modern.
It's really funny how unassuming but yet powerful that card
Yep.
is. So what
It's
do we
very
got?
powerful. Yep.
So we're going to Path to Exile that Thalia.
Yep.
He could have done that to save himself a little bit of life, but opts to not do it. So
Yeah, maybe he was just trying to avoid a more dangerous threat than Thalia. Maybe he's afraid of a Drazi Displacer possibly. Maxim doesn't run it, but there is threats that could be more potentially threatening than Thalia.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can imagine we'll see this go away. Yep. There it is.
Let's see, crack glue. And
5 mana.
yeah, we could potentially see the drawback of Path here. Maxim has
Mhm.
a lot of mana, and it's only turn 3 for him now. Turn 4.
Yeah. There is no
Yep.
blue-white control decks. They are all in this sort of Jeskai shell.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the players, blue-white control was like more like, I wouldn't say breakout deck of the PT, but a lot of pros love playing strictly blue-white.
Yep.
And that's why you saw so much blue-white control decks at the PT.
So there we have another Thalia. We've already killed one of these.
Yep.
This limits what we can do here.
Yeah.
Flicker Wisp targeting this Thraben Inspector. I love
Yeah.
this interaction because it's so unassuming. It's
Yeah.
so innocent
Yeah. Do you want to
on its face,
Yeah, do
right?
you want to bolt the Thraben Inspector when it's already giving you value?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming back. Like, it's already drawn him a card, right?
Yeah.
So there's a Lightning
Yeah.
Helix going, killing off that Thalia. Going to unrestrict his mana for the next turn. Thraben Inspector comes into play again.
Yeah, and we're seeing the proficiency of this like mono white deck. Chris Curry has had to play a turn behind every turn, and now he's stuck on 3 lands. And Maxime hasn't really lost any cards because he's got 2 clues.
It's that's exactly how it feels. He's got an extra land from the
Yeah.
Path to Exile. He's cracked a clue
Yeah.
token, and I imagine we're going to be cracking one more here, right? So
Yeah.
another Path to Exile.
And with this Tectonic Edge, Chris might be stuck on Restals and Cryptics, and Maxime can delay this 4th land for even longer.
I find it interesting. The Tectonic Edge is almost like an old school build. I find it interesting that he's still playing those over the Field of Ruins.
Yeah.
But you know what? In what we're watching right now,
Yeah.
this Tectonic Edge is actually just a lot better.
Yeah.
In
It's true.
in many ways, right? You would just
Yeah.
rather have the strip mine instead of this sort
Yeah.
of strip mine. So
Yeah, I think the reason being Maxime's deck is a lot more sorcery speed, main phase tap out, and Field of Ruin works better in conjunction with control. So Tectonic Edge requires less mana commitment. So that must be why Maxime's probably playing Tectonic Edge.
I think there's
Yeah.
also a world where he just hasn't updated his deck because I
Yeah.
haven't seen the guy play very
Yeah, that's
often.
true.
So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You're not wrong
But,
about that. Yeah.
But here comes
Yeah.
another Thraben Inspector. We have 2 clue tokens now, so at the ready. You know, Maxime is going to pass the turn here. Chris Curry likely to be scared of playing his 4th land, but this is a great position to be in. We get to
Yeah.
draw 2 cards here.
Yeah. Maxime doesn't know exactly what Chris is on, assumably, so he doesn't know that Chris probably has a bunch of Restals stuck in hand too.
Yeah, I think we missed a point there. I'll fix that. Thraben Inspector, here he goes. You ever Resto Angeled one of these?
No, but
It probably
yeah.
doesn't even feel that bad.
Yeah.
So Horizon Canopy. I love
Yeah.
Horizon Canopy in mono white decks.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic addition. Sometimes these decks have a problem with not getting enough cards, but being able to turn your lands into cards is
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So
The Humans deck runs the full 4, so
yeah.
yeah, why not, right? Turn your
Mhm.
mana flood into card draw. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's fantastic. So let's see
Yeah.
what we're gonna follow it up with. Flicker Wisp again, maybe. Another Flicker Wisp.
Yeah.
Threat on its own. It's gonna draw it like it replaces itself.
It's like, hey, do you want to kill my Thraben Inspector?
So, but so there's another
Okay.
Path to Exile. So
Yep.
again, Maxime's just gonna add more and more cards to. Yeah, look, He's going to be able to do so much with all these lands, with all these tokens.
Yeah, I mean, it must have felt bad just like pathing that 3-man inspector there. It's definitely not ideal.
Yeah, so what are we doing? I think we're going to Restoration Angel here. Okay,
Okay.
immediately Mana Leaked. I've never seen something
Snap
Mana
Mana
Leaked so
Leak.
fast.
Yep.
So, all right, let's put that one away.
Okay.
'Cause there would have been a lot of value here.
Yeah. So Chris, even though you're stuck on lands, at least he has tons of action to answer Maxime's threats. If he's fortunately not like Resto and Cryptic flooded, so that's good for him.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is still Maxime's turn, so Chris is going to hopefully he draws his 4th land.
I just wonder if he actually has the 4th land and he's not
Yeah, that's
playing
true.
it because he's scared of this Tectonic Edge. But
Yeah.
like Shield, so there it is.
It's the 4th land, yeah.
Yeah. Another clue token. This is
Yep.
going to be the 4th clue token that gets sacrificed this game if that actually ends up going through. So
Okay, so 3-man inspector beats. I remember in standard, it's like you lose so much life because of multiple 3-man inspectors, but you never
Yep.
want to kill it because they already got their value of it, so it feels awful.
yes, it does.
Just like cards similar to it got banned in standards. Rogue Refiner. Creatures that replace themselves are very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Thrabban Inspector also used to get in the Smuggler's Copter.
Yep.
You know, like
Quite frequently.
yeah. So with his buddy Toolcraft Exemplar, but Toolcraft Exemplar can go into a bigger boat.
Yep.
So our players are just confirming life totals.
Yep. Maxime has a lot of lands.
Well, he's
Quite a
been
bit.
pathed.
Yeah, path like 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like,
And we saw those early turns. Maxime used every single land that Chris pathed.
well, that's what I mean, right?
to
He was cracking these
effectiveness.
clue tokens. So if you wanted to talk about the disadvantage of Path to Exile,
Yep.
like I think this game is almost a textbook example of it,
Yep.
right? Like there's another craft.
3 3-man inspectors.
Yeah.
Do you cryptic counter this?
Yeah, like I don't know what you do here.
Counter
Kevin.
bounce the clue? Like,
So-
no, you don't even want to bounce the clue. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. 2 clues. Wow.
And then we fire off this Tectonic Edge here,
Yep.
though, right? Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And if Maxime had 2 tectonic edges, whew,
Yeah,
to
no
beat him.
kidding, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, you can actually double tectonic edge your opponent if they have just 4 lands, just by doing it on the stack. Because
Yeah.
they'll technically only have 4 lands,
so
so it's pretty sweet. Yeah. Okay.
But- mhm.
So Chris has his 4th land again, so it's pretty sweet.
Let's see what he can actually do with it. It is a
Yeah.
fetch land, so Maxime's just sacrificing these clue tokens.
Yep.
He's got so many cards in his hand still. Like, what is it? I think I count 5 just on the floor there. And yeah, he's got a full grip.
Yep.
There's
Oh,
another,
tectonic edge. Yeah.
You got to be happy about that if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Maxime, right? Like, you're just playing...
Yeah.
Kiki Jiki costs mana, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think Maxime knows that he's playing Kiki Jiki
No,
at this point. Like, we're just attacking with these, like,
Yeah.
small dudes.
If Maxime just follows Modern regularly, I just assume he's playing just Jeskai control
Yeah, absolutely, right?
from the looks of it. And that's what, like, Keenan, back in round 2, used to his advantage as well.
So, he's going to take the 3.
Oh, Maxime's at 19 because of the canopy. Oh, thank you very much for the heads up there.
So,
Okay.
players are just figuring something out here.
Yeah, and
We'll just go quickly make sure that we have the life
Yeah.
totals and that everything is okay. Maybe we
Yeah.
can help the judges. So, I'll be right back. Hang tight for 2 seconds.
Yep. So while we're in this lull for a bit, important point to note right now, Chris doesn't run any Supreme Verdicts main board, just because his deck is already so clunky with the Restos and Kikis, so he can't really afford to run the Supreme Verdicts. So Chris is gonna have to pick off these Resto Angels one by one, unless he can get some blocked with his Resto itself. Sorry, 3-man Inspectors one by one. But yeah, this is trying to just remove these 3-man Inspectors is such a big problem because Maxime already has a full grip. And if you tap down to get rid of some 1/2s, then Maxime's actually just going to play relevant creatures. And it looks like Chris Curry just concedes there, just because he realizes the kind of position he's in. So it is going to be 1-0 Maxime, I'm assuming, unless there's some game loss handed out, but I really doubt that. So let's just update this game score here. And I'm going to go to sideboard right away.
Jeskai. So, the Jeskai player realized that he hadn't sideboarded.
Oh,
And he had one of his sideboard cards in his main deck,
Okay.
so he was actually
Yep.
assigned a game loss. So that game was a little bit confusing.
Yep.
But that is what happens. So.
Okay,
I'm on-
sweet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good, nice honesty from Chris. Because if you're a malicious player, you could try to hide it in your hand and not mention it at all. But good on Chris for catching himself on that.
He did call the judge on himself too.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It looks like Maxime was going to win anyways, but it wasn't for sure. But it's unfortunate the game had to conclude via that way.
Right.
But let's look at Pulseport here. It's interesting to see what the Maxime has. So what Maxime has on the sideboard is 3 Stony Silence, 2 Ruined Halo, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Core Firewalker, 2 Fiend Hunter, 2 Mirror Crusader, and 2 Aven Mind Sensors. So
Do you bring in any of this?
I think the Core Firewalkers just because they dodge burn removal. So they can get path, but
You can bring in Rest in Peace because it is still It is still a Snapcaster deck. You're right
Yeah.
about the Firewalker.
Yeah.
There are a lot of it does dodge a lot of removal.
Yep.
So, but you might want to bring in some Mind Sensors too because
Yeah,
it's just
just
it's
fre-
nice being able to
they're
play at
flexible
that
flash
speed,
threat.
right?
Yeah.
But
2/1 flash threat, even if it's 3 minutes, still good if you're like sequencing your spells correctly.
yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this is one of those cases where you don't want to just overboard.
Yeah.
And you just want to, I don't know, just keep your deck as is, right? And I don't know, what it's doing seems fine against the inherent strategy, right? So,
What Chris Curry has post board, he has 2 Celestial Purge, definitely not going in, 1 Ruined Halo, 1 is a Staticaster, 1 Anger of the Gods, 1 Supreme Verdict, 1 Wear and Tear, 2 Rest in Peace, 1 Engineer Explosives, 2 Crumble to Dust, 2 Disdainful Stroke, and 1 Elspeth Sun's Champion. So for sure the Anger of Gods and Supreme Verdict, and the Engineer Explosives too, I imagine.
Staticaster's probably coming
Yeah.
in. There's actually a ton in that
Yeah.
deck that actually only
Yeah.
has 1 toughness,
Yeah,
right? Like
Flicker
Thalia's, the Flicker
Thalia,
Wisp.
Light Splicer itself.
Right.
Yeah, there's
Well,
tons
that's
of
about
threats you
it.
can-
But I think that's warrants
Yeah.
more than enough
Oh, yeah,
targets
definitely.
that it's actually going to kill off. So
Yeah.
you can kind of tag team to take down a Restoration Angel, right? You ping a Restoration Angel, then
Yeah.
you can Lightning Bolt it or Lightning Helix it. So doesn't happen in Magic
Yeah.
as often as some other games. I guess if you like play Hearthstone or whatever, there's
Yeah.
a ton of 2-card combos in where it's fine that way. In Magic, doesn't happen as much, but still an option, right?
Yeah.
So
would you sign in Elspeth here?
I love Elspeth.
Yeah.
So I have this red white sun and moon deck.
Yep.
And I think I don't know. I board that card in a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about it. I think
Card's powerful.
it's one of those very polarizing permanents
Oh,
where
yeah.
the game state just changes immediately.
Yeah. I play with it so much in Standard. It just wins the game so much, especially even in Cube too. It's very powerful.
So
Yeah. I think important point to note, Chris might be siding a lot part of the combo out, at least the Kiki part, because it's much harder for him to combo since Maxime can actually delay Chris off a 3 red. But Chris might not be doing that this game because Chris hasn't shown any flashes of combo at all.
it's true.
Yeah, Maxime hasn't even seen a resto from Chris.
And bear in mind there is because both of these players are playing in the same room.
Yeah.
It's not a big room.
Yeah.
It can. And there's a world where they've gotten flashes
Exactly.
of each other's decks, right? So Maxime, while not having seen anything game 1, can probably have seen something game 2, right?
Yeah.
So is this Vial?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
So. Well, it's just so awkward to play, and now that all
Yeah.
these creatures have these like awkward abilities that you have to navigate your way around. Turn 1 Vial is just so powerful in this deck. I think more than most. I think it's hard to argue that Vial, if not at its most powerful in this deck,
Yeah.
is at least a contender.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's definitely pluses with Vial. That's why a lot of people choose to play Vial. There's a lot of naysayers with Vial too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for example, like direct example, Jason Samard does not like playing Vial in his mono white deck.
He hates
Yeah.
drawing 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think any player does.
Yeah.
You just, it's not a card you want to draw 2 of.
Yeah.
You'd rather have it be a anything in your deck, even a land
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, Vial's kind of a direct example for power over consistency.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, because you are consistently going to draw 2.
Yeah,
like
exactly, right?
eventually, right?
Yeah.
So, but is the card powerful enough on turn 1 that, it warrants
Yeah.
this risk,
And I guess it really just depends on the kind of deck you're running. Even some of the human decks that the pros are cut Vial. I know some still included it, but there were still some that didn't even have it.
Willie Edel was playing Collected Company instead of Vile.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I'm not sure. It depends how many Blood Moon decks are in the format, so there's not that many, so I don't think it's an awful idea. But I still think Aether Vial is just way too powerful in that deck.
Okay.
Just
Sure.
because the draw step freebooters, I know you can do that with Collected Company, but you can do that much more consistently with Aether Vial.
Yeah. All right, so here it is. Thrab Inspector coming back for round 2. He's hungry. So he was wild in at the end of turn immediately.
Yeah, that was a sweet
Sack the
play
Clue
that we
token.
kind of missed. Maxime just fouled in Theory Inspector and cracked a clue right away. Instant
Yeah.
value.
A little bit of a cycle, so we're rewarded with a 1-2 for our efforts.
Yep.
All right. I imagine this Cavern of Souls is naming human. We slammed this down pretty unconditionally. So,
Yep.
does Maxime need to play anything else for the rest of the game to win?
No, Chris has to answer his board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we hitting here?
Yeah. Imagine the golem. Yeah.
Cool him down. So Chris is going to put himself up to 21 for them.
Okay, so is Chris gonna? I don't think he wants to raft this board, just because there's only 2 power present on the board.
How bad would that feel?
Yeah, 1.
I
Okay.
think you sacrifice this immediately.
You definitely do that right away.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's take the most
yeah, the
important
Aether
one.
Vial's gone too, Maxime.
Yeah.
Okay, sick.
So now the only thing that sucks about this is being open up to a Restoration Angel here.
Yep. Any flicker effect, pretty much.
Yeah, I wonder if Chris has a 1-mana response.
Yeah.
So service.
So good old 1 power beats, and Maxime's. Oh, he's casting Resto. I don't think he has any of other 4 mana threats. Yep.
It is a resto. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Chris cannot snap this off fast enough. Yeah. So he is in a way
Yeah.
getting 2 for 1 here. Just having to use the Lightning Helix on the Golem
Mhm.
token, having to use the Lightning Bolt on the rest of the Blade Splicers. So
Yep. Maxime's still staying sharp. Made sure he attacked first before he did the play.
just good sequencing.
Yeah, exactly. If the Frame Inspector gets target over removal, you have Resto there.
Chris's hand actually does look good though. But he has a hard time dealing with this 4 toughness here.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I see a Snapcaster, right? Snapcaster has a ton of targets for anything that has less, 1 less than 4 toughness here.
Yep.
But
Chris definitely needs to draw a path sooner or later.
yes, he does. Or his own Restoration Angel. Or maybe this is its Staticaster that we talked about, and
Yep.
they can... Oh, he had one. Well, Kevin. Spoke too soon.
Okay. You may search for a basic land.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Real? Just quick question. Where you have to remind your opponent to search for path.
I just think it feels unnatural.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Because I don't hate it. I love the idea behind it. Like I love the idea of playing a fair game of Magic.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just like it just feels weird.
Yeah,
Does
it
that
does.
make sense?
Yeah, you kind of feel forced to say it, and just like, yeah, you can search for a basic
Right.
land.
So.
Yeah.
And then like, what happens if you don't?
Yeah.
Like, are you at fault?
Yeah, I believe it's the onus on both players, so I believe both players get a warning about it.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. So, Chris Curry has a mana leak in his hand.
Mm.
It feels pretty awkward right now. Maxime at the end of turn is going to sacrifice that canopy, cash it in for a card.
Yep.
Untapping with a Lee and an Arbiter in play. So, but Chris has a lot of lands right now.
Mm.
So, we'll see what he can do here. So that's Sheffet Dunes.
Yeah, good old Sheffet Dunes.
So,
Yeah.
we'll see if this does anything. He can activate it, right? So if he ends up
Yep.
going wide, card can do a lot of work. So I've actually been trying it out in standard myself. It's it's a weird card, but when it's good, it's good.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So it
Yeah.
seldomly deals you damage too. So it's almost a freebie. Da-da-dum.
So we're going in for 4.
And what do we got? What do we got at 2 here? We got a Snapcaster Mage. What are we snapping back here?
And this is the power of like control decks with Snapcaster in them. You can deal with threats with just 1 card.
This is just a really efficient
Yeah.
2 for 2, if assuming
Bolt.
we're allowed to do that here.
Yep.
So
Maxime still has Resto mana up. I don't believe he would have it here.
Chris does have that mana leak
Oh,
available
yes.
right now,
Yep.
so you like Path over Lightning Bolt here?
Yeah,
Lightning Bolt just feels so efficient.
I feel like you're hedging. Wait, I don't even know what you're hedging for when trying to path
Okay.
the Univolt.
Maybe he's...
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny that we just mentioned that
Yeah.
because we forgot that Leonin Arbiter was actually in play, so...
Oh yeah, sick.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh, Maxime being very kind and showing us the interaction as well.
He paid the mana, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had to pay the
Yeah.
mana anyways.
There you go. Yep. So he's paying the
But-
mana.
He
Oh,
actually...
cool.
You normally actually don't have to pay.
Yeah.
Wait. What order did he...
What?
is
I
happening
thought
here?
Snap was blocking Leaning Arbiter, right?
Yeah, so did I. Okay, it looks
Oh,
like it
okay.
is.
Yeah, he's probably just searching basic.
So I did
first.
pay the tax to be able
Yeah.
to search from that Path to Exile.
Sweet.
You actually don't have to because
Yeah.
the creature is removed
Mhm.
as the search part is happening. So.
Yep.
And back to a boring board state here.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that play from Chris's perspective now. Just tying up Maxime's mana for the turn,
Yeah.
and he's already at quite a bit of lands. It does make the mana leak a bit worse, but I can understand
This
the
mana leak is becoming
thought.
like deader and deader.
Yeah.
All these turns go on. Nikachu was 4-1 going into this round, so we'll try to get him on camera next stream. So we got an Aether Vial, pretty late Aether Vial. These are usually a little bit lackluster at these
Yeah.
points in games. Usually you just want to be drawing gas, right?
Yeah.
So
So interestingly enough, Maxime's not popping the Horizon Canopy right away, so you must have another sequence set of plays set up still.
mhm. Magician Man, you're right. I just thought the path actually went on the Arbiter, so that's all, which ended up looking a little bit funny. Blade Splicer comes into play off of the Cavern of Souls. He had the mana to pay for the mana leak, but it's extra safe now. We're
Yep.
going to cash in this Horizon Canopy.
So Maxime has to be careful now. Chris Curry has Colonnade mana up.
Mm-hmm. There are no living index still in, unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe Steve Shibata was
Yeah,
out of
he
contention.
was 3-0, but I
Yeah.
think he's lost his
Yeah.
last two, so...
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Steve's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is Maxime going to do now?
Let's see. One white mana.
Here
Okay,
we
and
go.
there it is, the dreaded second Aether
Yeah.
Vial, right? And
Third Aether Vial, actually. Because the second one...
oh,
yeah.
right, it was you're right, it was
Yeah.
engineered explosives at the beginning of the
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah, and we're exactly talking about this. This Aether Vial Flood is unfortunately real now.
mhm. So Chris is gonna fire off a Restoration Angel at the end of turn. We got a Path to Exile that's
Yeah.
gonna target it.
That's a special kind of dual deck art, that path.
Yeah, it's killing a plated Geopede.
Yeah.
It looks like this Golem token was attacking.
Yep.
So Chris just trying to flash it off, get some damage in. He's gonna take 3 because he can't block. Chris doesn't have a lot of resources here left, and it feels like Maxime,
Doesn't,
while
no.
like he's only got a Blade Splicer,
Yep.
you know, both parts of Blade Splicer in play, but
Yeah, at least Chris still has these colonnades, so he has blockers lined up, especially since Maxime used one path out right now.
mm-hmm.
So Krista really doesn't need any spells at the moment if he can still stall off Maxime's attacks.
I wonder if there was a point in this game where, oh well, here it is. It's funny. I was about to comment on the ineffectiveness of this mana leak.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna say, I wonder if there was a way that we could have actually maybe gotten some value
Yeah.
out of that mana leak. But you know, there it is. So took a little bit late. Restoration Angel is still expensive even after you've been pathed twice.
Yep.
So
And Cavern's on humans, not angel, so...
you actually used the name
Unfortunate.
Angel a lot back
Yeah.
in Standard.
Oh yeah, with Thragtusk, Restoration Angel,
Yeah, because
Burial
Cavern of
Rites.
Souls and
Yeah.
Restoration Angel are
Yeah.
actually in the same set. So
You also ran Angel Serenity in that deck too, right?
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Some builds
Yeah,
did.
some builds, yeah.
So
Okay, so Chris still has Colonnade mana up, so is Maxime going to try to bluff an attack? Chris is not usually one to take bluffs. He usually just goes for it.
I think it's like I don't know if I agree with that,
Yeah.
but is he gonna sacrifice the
Yeah.
Chef at Dunes here? Chef at Dunes would bring it up to a 4/4
Yep.
first striker, so you do have to do it at sorcery speed, which is unfortunate. There it is. There's another Flicker Wisp. So this unassuming little 1/1 is doing a lot of work here. So it looks like the last card in Chris's hand does do something. He's reacting to this.
Yep.
And there's a Path to Exile. He's not happy about having to use a Path to Exile
Yep.
on the weak side of a Blade Splicer, but you got to do what you got to do here. So,
Yeah, exactly.
man, it's crazy. I don't feel like Maxime has necessarily done anything inherently broken.
No,
It's just like these little creatures, just grouping up together, giving him some value.
Yep.
So he did fetch there, so he's going to 10 halfway to his death here.
So Chris needs to draw gas from now on. Chris
Yeah.
is a bit flooded.
So
Okay.
there is a world where he forgot about Aether Vial. I guess it's late enough to the game. It looks like he's actually forgotten about Aether Vial for a while. It's funny that you brought it up because I've also forgotten about these Aether Vials.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny. They just feel so miserable, right?
but you know what?
Yeah.
Like maybe they actually would have been good, and
Yeah.
you know what? He remembered just as we did. So,
Yeah.
no wanting to. He heard us. He heard us.
Yeah.
So
No outside assistance.
yeah, single player game after all.
Yeah.
But there's a Tectonic Edge.
Which is
Rest
pretty,
in peace,
it's relevant.
Colonnade.
Yeah. So Maxime can actually attack freely now. That was a huge draw.
Huge draw.
Yeah.
All right. Got to work through this. Goodbye, Colonnade.
So we got 1 of 2 done.
Wear
Wear and tear. Okay, yeah. Golem is an artifact.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we still get 3 in.
So
Okay, so can Maxime draw a Ghost Quarter and Tectonic Edge again?
I don't think he can. The Golem is is only a 3/3.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. Oh, that's great play. Now Maxime can go for it with Chef at Dunes, which I'm assuming he will try to.
because this is the game, right?
Yep. This is presenting lethal. Why not go for game when you have that your opportunity?
So he did this at the end of turn, so he's actually not going to get. And that's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was one lower there, but yeah.